What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Bull Combo. I hope you guys are doing great, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. I'm coming back at you all with a weekly Metaverse update this week. Just wanted to say thank you to everyone that was patient for me while I didn't post a video last week. I had family in town. It was the holidays. I tried to multitask everything, and in most circumstances I can, but it was one of those situations where I just wasn't able to, so appreciate your patience there. But that said, I am back with another weekly update for you guys this week, and we have quite a few things to discuss this week. So as always, if you want to jump to a specific topic, you can use any of the timestamps listed down below in the description of the video. So without any further delay, let's jump right into this week's weekly update. And we're going to kick things off with an announcement from Seoul, South Korea. City officials have announced plans to develop Seoul into the first metaverse city and become the first municipal government with a full-service virtual world. According to plans, in Metaverse Seoul, residents will be able to make reservations for city-run facilities, ride city tour buses, visit recreations of destroyed historical sites, file administrative complaints with city bureaucrats, and more. Residents would also be able to visit cultural heritage sites throughout the city by accessing the metaverse on their cell phones. Metaverse Seoul begins this New Year's Eve, when the traditional bell ringing ceremony will also be held on the platform for any residents that want to participate virtually. Seoul intends to complete their metaverse plans by 2026 and could roll out in phases starting next year. It would first be available on smartphones, but officials said eventually augmented reality tools such as goggles and controllers would also be used. Obviously, this is a pretty big announcement from Seoul, the first city to announce a full-on metaverse. We've seen metaverse projects announced from cities previously, like the City of London metaverse project and virtual NFT display that they showed off a little bit earlier this year. However, those weren't plans to turn basically the entire city system and the entire civil system of the city into a metaverse copy, which is what it sounds like they're trying to do here. They're basically providing all those civil services that they provide in the real world, but in a metaverse style setting. And it'll be really interesting to see, one, how this goes over, and two, whether or not other cities adopt this. I could see this being something that's adopted by other large cities, as it makes a lot of sense since we're moving into more of a virtual world, and more of a world where virtual and reality kind of are starting to mix and blend a little bit. So very interesting stuff coming here out of Seoul. Decentraland. Decentraland has announced their intentions to hold Metaverse Festival again next year. Metaverse Festival was a 4-day virtual festival in Decentraland. It featured over 80 artists and 50,000 virtual attendees, who claimed over 11,000 NFTs during the entire event. In a post, Decentraland stated, "The first ever Metaverse Festival was one for the record books, and we're doing it again next year. Bigger and better. Stay tuned." The 4-day festival was a celebration of music, culture, and creativity in the virtual social world of Decentraland. I know that this year's Decentraland Metaverse Festival wasn't as popular as I think they'd intended for it to be, and I'm a little bit surprised to hear that there was actually 50,000 attendees, given that I heard it was a little bit quieter than someone had expected. But this is encouraging to see, both from an adoption perspective and just for the success of Decentraland as a whole. It's really cool to see that they're going to take this to the next level next year, and I really can't wait to see what exactly they do with the event. We're really moving really quickly when it comes to virtual experiences, and I imagine it could be completely different than the one that was provided this year to users. So very exciting times if you're a fan of virtual concerts and virtual experiences and festivals. The Sandbox. In what is the biggest news probably to hit the Sandbox to date, the Sandbox Alpha is now live. All users can log in and access the 4 main Alpha experiences. However, Alpha Pass holders can also access 18 total experiences, and if all quests are completed by Alpha Pass holders, they can claim 3 unique NFTs and 1,000 Sand token. Obviously, that's a really great reward just for having an Alpha Pass here. Now, the Alpha Passes are pretty limited. I think there's only 5,000 that are being given out. 1,000 were raffled to landowners, and the additional 4,000 are being given out via competitions, etc. And currently, there's daily giveaway contests that are being run on the Sandbox Twitter. So if you want to win an Alpha Pass, be sure to enter one of those competitions. You can also check out the Sandbox live streams on YouTube and Twitch. They're doing those nightly, and they seem to be giving away 2 Alpha Passes a night for those. So definitely multiple ways to get entered into winning an Alpha Pass. Adidas also announced their partnership with the Sandbox this week and purchased a large estate within the platform. This is a huge move because now we're seeing a large sports brand move into the metaverse space. We recently saw Nike announce their partnership with Roblox, so it's interesting to see Adidas take the decentralized route by going with the Sandbox. I think that's very promising personally, and I think it shows their intent from a consumer perspective is to let consumers have more control, and I can appreciate that quite a bit. Nevertheless, it's huge for the Sandbox as a whole to have a brand like Adidas joining onto the ranks. So very cool stuff there. But that's not all that went on this week in the Sandbox. They also had Wave 1 of the Snoop Dogg land sale on Thursday, and that sold out basically instantly. That's to be expected because there was a little over 100 regular lands available, but still very cool to see it sell out so quickly. It also looks like there was well over 100 unique buyers during the sale, so lots of new buyers injected into the Sandbox ecosystem and lots of new people able to claim land in the Sandbox platform. On top of all that, Republic Realm partnered with the Sandbox to release the Metaflower Super Yacht. It was purchased via auction for $980,000. Yes, you heard that right, $980,000 for a Sandbox asset. And I have a feeling that's probably not the most expensive asset sale we'll see in the Sandbox as time goes on. Not to be outdone by the Super Yacht sale, Republic Realm then went ahead and made the largest purchase in Sandbox history, acquiring a property for $4.3 million. It also sounds like they're going to be partnering with Atari to help build out their Sandbox land experiences. As a whole, the Sandbox has a ton of momentum right now between the alpha release, all of the partners being announced, the land sales, the price of Sand Token, and the price of land currently in secondary markets. Things are just pointing up in all directions for the Sandbox, and the game hasn't even gone fully live yet, so a lot of exciting times here if you're a Sandbox user, if you're a land investor, if you're a sand investor, or if you're just a fan of the platform itself looking to have some fun. I have a feeling we're going to be having a lot of fun in the Sandbox. I've already checked out some of the alpha experiences, and I think they're really well made. They look really cool, and once you get in there and play around, you can really start to see the potential of the Sandbox and these style metaverses in general. So definitely recommend jumping in, playing the alpha if you get a chance, and we'll keep an eye out for more news from the Sandbox in the near future. Earth 2. It has been a very interesting week for Earth 2, and there's been several key developments that have occurred over the last week. The most recent official announcement that was made was in regards to Essence, and it's generated quite a bit of buzz. It was announced that we're going to be seeing an Essence drop for all landholders, along with a confirmation from Shane via Discord that Essence will indeed be the cryptocurrency within the Earth 2 platform. Additionally, the team announced plans to change the land class tier system. It'll see all land transition to either Tier 1 or Tier 2 land with different features and benefits for each tier. It looks like they're in the process of rolling out these changes now, and the Earth 2 website has been up and down over the last few hours. So if you experience technical issues or if you experience performance issues, that's probably what's going on. It's hard to tell if it's an update occurring on the website or if it's a combination of an update combined with really high traffic volume. Nevertheless, there's a lot of connection issues going right now, so it definitely looks like something's occurring. In terms of Essence, we're definitely just going to have to wait more information on the Essence tokenomics and the tier changes themselves. However, additionally, per reports, it looks like Thomas and Nathaniel have left their roles as community manager and developer, respectively. This could signal a pretty large coming change in the direction of the platform. The community is pretty understandably upset and kind of displaying mixed emotions here about this recent revelation, so we'll have to see what comes next and what additional information we're given to help us understand the vision of the platform moving forward. It looks like there's something being planned here that we need more information on, and while it's pretty easy to start rushing to judgment and speculation about what might have happened or why they left, at this point I really don't have any intent on speculating on it other than to just kind of wait and be patient and see what happens. It seems like as I've gotten more involved in these platforms, the idea of just being patient has been a pretty prevalent thing in all of them, and a lot of them have ended up developing into something successful. It just seems like there's a lot of impatience within the community, so I'm going to try not to contribute to that. I'm literally just going to wait and see exactly what happens here. And hopefully we can get more information on the direction the platform's headed so that we get a little more clarity. Meta. Meta has officially lifted their ban on cryptocurrency advertisements. In a not so surprising 180, the social media giant has decided to re-allow cryptocurrency advertisements on the Facebook platform. While we'll probably never know the exact reasoning why the ban was initially implemented, it's fair to say that their recent stance on metaverses likely had something to do with the reversal itself. Zuckerberg's also been on the record in recent interviews as saying he has a lot of interest in blockchain and in crypto and thinks that there are many good uses for it, so it definitely sounds like they are changing their tune in regards to cryptocurrency. While this isn't a huge metaverse-related piece of news, I think it's very interesting and very important because Meta obviously owns the largest social media platform in existence right now with Facebook. So it'll be really interesting to see how these cryptocurrency advertisements affect the Facebook user experience, whether or not users are going to appreciate it or going to hate it. I imagine it's going to be mixed, as has been the reception to NFTs and the crypto world in general. So just a piece of information that I thought was pretty interesting and worth covering in this week's update. Where to earn. In a recent interview with Cointelegraph, Megan Casper, managing director of Magnetic Capital and member of Red DAO, a fashion-focused decentralized autonomous organization, said she believes that digital fashion NFTs will be the largest NFT category of Web 3.0. Casper further mentioned that a where-to-earn model will thrive in AR environments, noting that designers, brands, and retailers will create clothes to accommodate digital closets. In order to build long-term relationships with consumers, Casper noted that designers will likely pay consumers to wear their virtual items, a sort of where-to-earn model. Interesting and probably polarizing. I can see how this would be both beneficial and a hindrance in certain people's eyes. I can see it being beneficial for people that don't have a lot of income. This is an alternate revenue stream for people just by wearing branded clothing. But on the flip side, I can imagine there's going to be a lot of people that are really not keen on the idea of people living their digital lives as branded or living branded digital lives. I think that could get pretty slippery pretty quickly. And if you're waking up and every single item that you wear in the digital world is branded by some sort of brand just so you can get a cut every month of that income, that could be a very overly capitalized type experience and just very dystopian. So while I think there's potential for things like this to happen, just like it happens in the real world with influencers, etc., I really hope that there is a limit to how this happens and how this interaction occurs, and that we don't just have to wear branded everything in the metaverse, because I could see that being sort of annoying and irritating, having constant advertisements in front of our faces. It's something I've come to sort of expect to occur long term in the metaverse, but I'm really hoping that as development goes on, we can set up some sort of standards and regulations for things like this, because it's obviously something that's going to have to be done, just like there's standards and regulations in the real world. Something to consider and some very interesting stuff. Enter the Metaverse. The Enter the Metaverse virtual event began yesterday. The event sees leaders and thinkers from around the metaverse space come together for a 2-day virtual event of learning, presentations, and networking, all with the goal of furthering metaverse knowledge and collaborations. Some of the notable speakers included Sebastian Bourget, co-founder and COO of the Sandbox, Shane Isaac, CEO of Earth-2, Sarah-Jean McKenna, co-founder of Alien Worlds, Esteban Ordano, founder of Decentraland, and many more. This is a great opportunity to learn about the metaverse, meet metaverse-minded people, and take in as much knowledge about the space as possible. While I was really busy this week, I was able to watch a few of the sessions, and the sessions that I was able to watch yesterday were extremely informative. They were very enlightening and frankly pretty eye-opening in terms of things that are being thought about when it comes to the metaverse that I would never have even considered. So if you got a chance to join this, you probably know what I'm talking about in terms of the value here. If you didn't get a chance to join, I definitely recommend searching for some of the recordings of those presentations and of those sessions, because I think there's a lot of really valuable information in there. And I imagine we're going to see a lot more events like this come out in the near future. I'm really excited to attend them and really just take in as much information as possible when it comes to learning about metaverses and the different thought processes that go into them, as well as the things that we don't quite consider as we move toward this metaverse style world. Veve. There were several drops and announcements made this week. Last Saturday saw the release of Serial Killer Series 3, followed up by Uncanny X-Men number 129 and Ultimate Spider-Man number 1 comic drops. The DC Artists Alley blind box drop will occur tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific time. Additionally, Veve announced a partnership with the Jim Henson Company for the 35th anniversary of Labyrinth. We'll expect to see NFTs related to the film showing up in the near future. And in an Ecomi note, we saw Ecomi announce their staking tiers, something Ecomi investors have been heavily awaiting. It also looks like the team is taking suggestions for additional staking tiers. We're likely going to see more information on this in the near future, but it's encouraging to see the Ecomi team releasing information on not only the staking, but the underlying utility of the Ecomi token, and what we can expect to see in the future, as well as how it ties into the IMX migration that's currently occurring. We still don't have any news on where the IMX or Immutable X migration currently is. Last we knew, they were in the process of making the migration and carrying over the NFTs. It looks like they're experiencing some delays, so hopefully we can get some information on that soon. I know a migration like this is not simple, especially for a platform as large as Veve. Nevertheless, some additional communication would probably be appreciated to set some users' minds at ease. Block. In a sign of the coming corporate shift, and hot on the heels of the Facebook Meta rebrand, Square has announced that they will be renaming as Block. Block houses Square, Cash App, Tidal, and a to-be-determined project. This is just the latest in a series of name changes and corporate focus shifts. And while the announcement doesn't directly insinuate a move toward crypto or blockchain, the name Block is very telling, and it aligns with the stance the company has had for the last year or so when it comes to crypto. And I believe we could see crypto integrations become a focal point of the apps under the Block umbrella. I think this is really interesting. I think Jack Dorsey has been pretty open in the past prior to stepping down as Twitter CEO, but he was very open in the past about his love of blockchain, of crypto, of him wanting to integrate it into the existing platforms that he owns and that he maintains. So it's not a surprise to see this name change occur. I think it's really interesting that we now have a company named Block and Meta. They're almost like a little too tongue-in-cheek casual when it comes to the names. Nevertheless, the adoption's interesting. It's encouraging from a corporate perspective. I imagine we're going to see a lot more name changes here in the near future to align with the coming metaverse shift. It's very interesting stuff coming out from a company as large as Square, or now Block. All right, guys, that was all I had for this week. There was a lot of stuff to go through, especially since I missed last week's update. There was a few extra things to cover, and quite frankly, there's just been so much going on in the space that it's really hard to not talk about a bunch of things every time I come on here. So, curious to hear your thoughts on some of these changes, some of these announcements, some of these projects, some of these updates. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Do you like this stuff? What was your favorite thing? Do you not like something? I enjoy hearing all of that. Other than that, guys, I really want to thank you for your support on the channel, for checking out this video. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to smash that like button. And if you enjoy the content I post here on the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button and hitting that bell to get notified when I post new content. At the minimum, I'm going to be coming at you guys with these weekly update videos. I'm going to probably be focusing on some additional things here in the near future, so keep an eye out for that. Other than that, I hope you all have a fantastic Friday, an excellent weekend, and until next time, we'll see you soon.